Thank you for joining me for this guided wine tasting meditation. To begin, let's go ahead and pour ourselves a small glass of wine. We'll be tilting and swirling our glass, so about 1/4 of a glass is a good amount to get started. We'll be using all of our senses here, so let's start by listening to the sound of the wine as it pours into the glass. For the tasting, we'll start with our sense of sight. Tilt your glass away from you so that it's almost on its side without spilling, and use your white paper as backdrop. Take a look at the color of your wine. Is it more purple in color, ruby, or more brick red? Is it deep and dark, or can you see through it? Now let's give it a swirl in our glass and observe the legs or tears of the wine that develop on the sides of the glass. Slow tears are an indication of a higher alcohol wine. Now we'll use our sense of smell to take in the aromas of the wine. Swirl your glass again to incorporate oxygen, which will make your wine more aromatic and easier to smell. Put your nose right into the glass and take several small whiffs. Do you smell any fruit, herbs, or floral notes? Note that we cannot actually smell sweet, but we can smell things that are naturally sweet tasting like fruit. And it's easiest to think of fruit in terms of categories. Red wines may have notes of red fruit, like cherries and raspberries, blue fruit, like plums and blueberries, or black fruit, like blackberries and figs. Take a few whiffs, trying to only visualize the fruit that comes to mind, and the condition of the fruit. So is it fresh, ripe, or dried? This can be difficult, so take your time here. The next thing we're going to try and detect with our noses are any hints that the wine has been aged in oak. Aromas of oak may include vanilla, dill, coconut, coffee, toast, cloves, cinnamon, and cedar. Take another couple whiffs of your wine and see if you can detect any of these aromas. Does your wine have any notes of baking spices or other descriptors? Your wine may also have aromas other than fruit and oak, such as violets, cherry blossoms, or other flowers. It might also have something vegetal or herbal like green peppers or fennel. It might have an earthy aroma like dry leaves or tobacco, or even a savory, stinky cheese, mushroom, truffle, or smoky aroma. It could even have a funky basement or animal type of aroma. Take another moment to swirl and smell your wine, and think about any other aromas that you pick up. Remember, there is no right or wrong answer. This is just simply thinking about aromas that you perceive in the wine. Feel free to pause this recording if you'd like more time to assess the aroma of your wine. Otherwise, we'll move on to our taste buds. Go ahead and take a generous sip of wine and swish it around to fully coat your mouth. Breathe in some air as if you're slurping your wine to enhance your taste buds. Now swallow your wine and breathe in through the mouth and out through the nose. Are there any new flavors coming out through? Next, we're going to take another sip and pay attention to the texture. Does it coat your mouth in a way that whole milk would, or is it as light-bodied as a glass of water? Is it acidic? Meaning, does it make your mouth pucker a little bit? Does it cause you to salivate? We sense acidity on the sides of our mouth and the back of our jaw. How about tannins? Does the wine give your tongue a drying sensation, almost like sandpaper? Some wines, like Cabernet Sauvignon and Nebbiolo, have big mouth-drying tannins, while other wines, like Pinot Noir and Merlot, have very light tannins and would be described as smooth. How would you describe the texture of your wine? Finally, swallow the wine and count the seconds until you can no longer taste it. This is the finish. Wines that stay with us for more than 30 seconds are considered to have a long finish. Now let's reflect on all the components of the wine that we just assessed to make a conclusion. Are the fruits, acids, and tannins in balance? Can you still taste your wine? Do you like it? Think about what you like or don't like about it specifically. Remember that the taste of wine changes with food, so you may want to taste your wine after taking a bite of cheese or salami or a cracker, and then make your final conclusion. To wrap up, I'd like you to take a moment to reflect on the life of your wine. As we know, all wines begin as grapes on a vine. Where were the grapes of your wine grown? Can you picture it? Is it a hot and sunny place, or is it cool and foggy? Imagine the time and energy it took to grow and harvest the grapes. Imagine all the people who took part in tending to the grapes, harvesting them, and destemming and crushing them into juice. Take a moment to reflect on the process of fermenting the grapes into wine and the time the wine spent aging, possibly in barrels, and then in the bottle, and then making its way all the way to you. Let's take a moment to appreciate this amazing journey. Thanks again for joining me for this wine tasting meditation. Hopefully you feel better acquainted with the wine in your glass after this tasting, as well as a sense of peace from taking this time to be mindful using your senses. Cheers!